Right now, over 600,000 Americans are homeless and living out on the streets. Some of them have been there for years. And the sad part is, we just keep getting worse. In fact, homelessness has been on the rise since 2019 and growing at a rate of 3% per year. That's why I'm making this video today, because if it continues like this, we will soon have a whole generation of homeless people. It's shocking that in America, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, we can't even take care of all our citizens. And even more shocking is that in certain cities, it's become totally normal to walk past a homeless person begging for money. But despite how common it's become, it's not normal at all. There's nothing normal about seeing an innocent person go through something so traumatic. That's why I'm going to show you what's really happening right now in America with the homeless epidemic. Because after you see what's really happening, you'll understand why millions of Americans are scared and what they're doing right now to protect themselves. But before we go into that, I want to tell you about my good friend Robert Kiyosaki. Most of you probably know him from his one best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which has sold over 32 million copies worldwide. It's one of the most influential books of our generation. It's teaching us the secrets about money, the financial industry, and how to build wealth. And now he's released a new book called Why the Rich Keep Getting Rich, and it's become an instant bestseller. In this book, Robert reveals the hidden secrets to generating multiple streams of income, becoming financially free, and securing your future. If you haven't heard this yet, we are in the biggest housing bubble in American history. Prices have skyrocketed over the last few years, doubling in some areas. But with rates now going up, prices are starting to fall. That means if you invest now, you might be able to buy low. And the best way to do that is by investing in real estate. Robert explains in his new book, many wealthy people built their fortunes by investing in real estate. However, most investors don't do it correctly, especially when things get tough. The truth is, recessions are actually the best time to find amazing deals and make the most profit. So if you want to learn how to take advantage of this unique opportunity and start building your own real estate portfolio, you need to check out his new book, Why the Rich Keep Getting Rich. When I read the book, it blew me away. He goes through step by step exactly how to start investing and how to invest in yourself. It's honestly one of the best books I've ever read, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to achieve financial freedom. Now let's get back to the video. For those who don't know, over the last 2 years, we've seen the homeless population grow at a rate of 3% each year. Sounds pretty small, until you realize that's 20,000 people every single year. On top of that, life expectancy has been declining since 2018 and only getting worse. In fact, in 2020, life expectancy dropped to 77 years old, which is the lowest it's been since 1996. And according to CDC data, the leading causes are heart disease, cancer, and accidents. All of this is really bad news, but it doesn't stop there. We also have a major mental health crisis in our country. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness. And another study shows that 60% of Americans will experience a mental health crisis in their lifetime. But the biggest problem is that most people who need help never get it. That's why mental illness is one of the leading causes of death and homelessness. A recent study found that almost half of the homeless population has a serious mental illness. But unfortunately, it seems like we're doing everything we can to make the situation worse. Even though we spend more money on the military than the next 10 nations combined, we continue to cut funding for the homeless and the mentally ill. In fact, over the last 10 years, government spending on homeless services has declined from $14.7 billion to $9.4 billion, which equates to 35 less money. And that's the main reason why so many homeless people end up on the streets. The thing that breaks my heart the most is that it doesn't have to be this way. Many people are already coming together to help solve this problem. For example, a woman named Amber Wigfall created an organization called Love Beyond Walls. Her group partners with local businesses to donate food, clothes, and other essentials to the homeless. They also work closely with shelters to ensure people have a safe place to stay. Since she started her organization, she's helped thousands of people get off the streets and live a more normal life. Or how about Gary, who created a nonprofit called Restoring Broken Windows? This organization was started after he noticed that most homeless people had no way to charge their phones or access the internet. He realized this was a huge barrier to getting a job and getting back into society. So instead of sitting around complaining about it, he did something about it. He set up charging stations throughout the city where homeless people could charge their devices, even went as far as buying laptops and tablets for those who needed them. Since then, over 85% of people he's helped have gotten jobs and moved into permanent housing. These are just two examples of people who are making a difference, but they couldn't have done it without the help of others.